Hey, good people, it's your guy Lewis to the T, and I'm back for the 8th installment of Black History Month 2021. And I am so excited to talk to you guys today about tradition. I want to talk about tradition and the role that it plays in Black history. When I think about tradition, I immediately think about faith, family, and food. Yeah, I know a lot of people thought I was going to say faith, family, and friends, but I think of faith, family, and food. And if we're all being honest, if you got the right food, it's going to bring the friends around. And if you're a part of the Baptist tradition, it's going to combine all three, right? You're going to have your food after Sunday, after church, and that's going to attract your friends. But today I really want to talk about tradition, and I want to talk about what I just said in more detail in regard to faith. When I think about tradition, I think about the Black church. But as I've grown older, as I've met more people and kind of got this diverse group of friends and learned more about different family members, I recognize that when we say the Black church, it really is a broad-ranging term that we use, and we think about Christianity and we think about Sundays and we think about a particular time or type of building, but honestly within the African American community, we are not a monolith. We are people of varying faiths. So when we say the Black church, or when I say the Black church during this video, I don't mean offense to anyone. I'm talking about all faiths. Your church might be a traditional Christian church. It might be a temple. It might be a synagogue. It could be a mosque. You know, it could be any particular place of worship if you choose to worship at all. We have that right, we have that freedom in this country, but today as it pertains to tradition, I am going to talk about faith. So, you know, faith has played an instrumental and an invaluable role in what it means to be a Black American in this country. We know that many of our leaders, our prominent leaders in regard to social justice movements have come from the Black church. I think about people who are still with us, like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, and I think about those who have gone on. I think about Malcolm X. I think about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. These were men of great faith, deep abiding faith, that led us in a time where we really did need their assistance, because the Black church was the meeting place, and it was a gathering place for all people, all walks of life, who were African American. It didn't matter how much money you made. It didn't matter, you know, I was going to say where you live, but back then we were pretty much living together, which had, you know, some benefits. It had some drawbacks. One of the benefits was the unity that it provided. But faith and tradition of what it is to be African American in this country has proven vital. Not only leadership, not only unity, but it gave us a place and a space to understand who we were as value-added citizens. In the Black church, you had ministers, you had deacons, you had, you know, mothers, depending on the tradition that you were a part of, or the denomination that you were a part of, the mothers of the church, the people that worked on the health unit, like my mom. But all of these different avenues and areas within the church where people could serve and where they could lead and where they could be seen and where they could be told that they were a value add, and they went beyond those walls. They really did believe in charity. They believed in being their brothers and their sister keeper, because outside of that church, they were feeding the hungry. They were helping the homeless, and things that still go on now, and they go on now because of tradition. These are things that we know that we should do. We know that these things are right and good, but it was that historical foundation and that tradition that was put in place many generations ago, why so many of us still attend church, or why so many of us keep doing the good work that we learned in that church, even if we're not still members. And that is a vital part of what tradition provides. It provides a foundation and a platform to teach, to learn, to grow, to feel excited, to create that self-esteem and that awareness that you're doing something that people who look like you, people who may share your own bloodline, they did it before you, and now you're just extending it out. So faith has played an amazing role, and like I said, an invaluable role since this, you know, country began with African American people, and has not always been Christianity. I know there's a lot of arguments about whose religion we have, and is it the white man's religion, and is it our religion, but it was warped, and there are so many deep diving discussions that we could have about faith. But at the end of the day, what faith does bring us, it brings us unity, it brings us love, it brings us something stronger and higher to believe in, and I'm not sure how you could go wrong with that. but not just faith. I went into it a little bit, but I want to talk about family, the traditions of family. When I think about family traditions, the first thing that comes to mind for me are family reunions. Family reunions are some of the most heartwarming, loving, bonding moments that I've had my entire life. Cousins now that I have conversations with, we've never lived in the same state. We've never lived in the same state, never lived in the same city, but we have this unbreakable bond that has lasted decades. You know, we met when we were children. We met when we were, 5 or 7 or 9 years old, and we have maintained relationships through annual and biannual trips at some place, some part in the country to meet in the name of a family reunion, to meet in the name of our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our great-great-grandparents who started this family unit for us. Our divine connection to God came through who these people were to us and how they grew this family and they grew this tradition and they taught us to love one another and to be connected and to always value who we were as Williams. That is, my family name. We are the Williams family. We have a Williams family reunion every 2 years. Now, it used to be every year, I believe, at one point. And this tradition was built deep within us. We take it very seriously. It's why we have the connections we have. It's why we have the bonds that we have. And again, this is people that I may not see except once or twice a year. I mean, with the advent of social media, it's a lot different, right? Some of these people, we talk every single day and we don't live in the same city or state, but our relationship began at a time where we didn't have cell phones and we didn't necessarily have email. And I know I'm dating myself, right? And I'm okay with that because that was the power of this tradition within our family where we could spend one weekend together out of the year, sometimes every year, sometimes every other year, and it created a bond that we would never forget. And when we saw each other the following year, or even 2 years later, we picked up like it had never stopped. That is a powerful tradition. And a tradition of food. Who does not like food? I mean, we like different types of food, but even beyond food being the thing that fuels your body, I'm trying to get there. Just think about it fueling your body. It's not something to sit and enjoy. I'm sure that helps your workout regimen, but I'm not there yet. And so for me, food is this bonding experience amongst friends and family. We get together over those things that we traditionally like to eat. Again, as I meet new and different people, that changes, that varies a little bit. I haven't met too many people that don't like macaroni and cheese. That might be the universal food bonding mechanism, but just in general, there are so many of us, depending on where you were born and raised in a country where food is a unifying force. We like to eat and we eat good. I've chosen a healthier eating lifestyle. I eat mostly a vegan, sometimes a vegetarian diet, but I had to learn. I had to learn how to hold on to the tradition that was really put in place because what I realized is that it was not about the food. It was more about the fellowship than it was about the food. But the food was the reason or as the excuse that we used to get together and to break bread and to talk to one another and to really just hang and have a good time. So, I mean, hey, when I changed my diet, it was a minor adjustment. I knew I still wanted to be around my friends and family, so we figured it out, and now it's like it never happened. I know how to navigate, the menus with the best of them in order to eat, a healthy, more well-balanced meal, but still get to enjoy what that tradition of food was for me. I'm not going to start naming foods. I don't want people to start getting hungry, but you know what it is. I already named the macaroni and cheese. I'll stop there. But I just wanted to stop by today on this Monday to talk about tradition and the role that it plays in Black history. I hope that you're building traditions, building on the old traditions that you guys have in your family, amongst your friend groups or in your community, and hopefully not just relishing in the history of what was, but building new traditions. Do something now that has never been done that your children and your legacy going forward will do in honor of you or in the name of you or your family name. That they'll look back and say, man, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, uncle or cousin or great-grandpa decided that this was something that was going to be good for our family, and that's why we do this. So hopefully that helped you guys out. Hopefully it sparked some conversation. Hopefully you got a little bit of a laugh about it. But as always, you know, on whatever platform you find me on, please share, please tell your friends and family about it. I just started a YouTube page where I'm going to upload all the videos that you see right now on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. You'll see them all on YouTube as well. So see you guys again tomorrow. Hopefully it's getting better. I know it's getting a little bit different, so I welcome your feedback. Let me know what you think.